Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Afrocentrist Podcast. Today on the podcast, we're going to be going the interview style. And today I'm going to be featuring a coach all the way from Nigeria. And we'll be talking about the power of focus. And guess what? His nickname is Mr. Focus. So sit back, relax, and don't go anywhere because today's discussion is going to be interesting and you are going to benefit from it. But before I bring my guest on, let me just quickly read his profile for you. Today, I have the pleasure of hosting Boluwatife David, who is a certified neuro-linguistic programming, that's NLP practitioner, a certified high-performance coach and trainer, a member and resource person of Institute of Strategic Management, Nigeria, ISMN. He is the author of Focus. You see why we're talking about focus today, right? The ultimate guide to achieving more. He's the founder of the Focus Life Inner Circle and the convener of the Focus Life Summit. Everything about this man is focused, okay? So that's why we're diving into it, the power of focus. A little bit more about him is that through his training and consulting interventions, he has trained over 4,000 working professionals across different managerial levels, industries, and institutions like GT Bank, Hygeia, Union Bank, First Bank, Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSC, Custodian, OLX, Leap Africa, and many more. He has also spoken at different conferences, seminars, and workshops. Boluwatife David is an expert at delivering training solutions on product lines such as personal effectiveness and productivity, emotional intelligence, time management, decision-making, effective communication, team management, superior customer service delivery, career and enterprise development, and leadership, and so much more. In fact, you already have a clue or a taste of who Mr. Bolu is, aka Mr. Focus, and that is who we are going to be interviewing today on the Afrocentrist Podcast. Like I said, sit back, relax, grab. It's been a while I said that, right? So grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or a bottle of water if that is what works for you, and sit back as we dive into this discussion on the power of focus. See you in a bit. Okay, guys, welcome back. Yes, I have here with me Mr. Focus. Okay, so you can see that his name is Boluwatife David. Yes, and you already know I've done his introduction, but he's popularly known as Mr. Focus. And if you listen carefully to the intro I did and reading his profile, he is the founder of Focus Summit, Focus Conference. He wrote a book, Focus Life and everything. So like everything about him is focus. And that is why today we are diving into the topic, the power of focus. Okay. So, but before we go into the discussion, let us still hear something. We've read, a part of your profile, but we'd still like to know something about you that most people don't know. So, Mr. Focus. Okay. So, for the reason of this interview, I'm going to be regarding to Mr. Bolu as Mr. Focus, okay? So, Mr. Focus, tell us something about you that most people don't know about.
Well, maybe a lot of people do not know why I started the Focus Life movement in the first place. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that is really important that I speak about. And every time I have the opportunity, I like to share it. And so I've been in the management consultancy speaking space for a while, and I thought it was just going to be business as usual until one day I got a jolt in my spirit, and that particular day, the question that came to my mind was, why exactly do you think I sent you on this journey into training, speaking, management consultancy? And I felt like, oh God, you're just trying to solve my financial problems. And, you just want to give me something to do. And in that moment, it struck my mind that no, I have actually not gotten the clarity as to the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that particular day, the instruction was simple. So there are a lot of people that I have given a lot of assignments to that do not understand that assignments are tied to needs and needs are tied to time. So the moment you miss out on the timing of a need, what you carry is no longer useful, right? Because you have missed out on the time that it is needed. It's almost like when you need lunch and it was not provided at the time it was needed. By the time somebody is bringing lunch to you at 9 p.m. in the night, that lunch is no longer useful, and it was impressed in my mind that the reason why we are here, what we are as a generation and as a people, is because a lot of people have failed in their mandates as at the time God would have wanted them to deliver it. And God said to me that I exist outside of time and not limited by time. It's only humans that are limited by time. Now, my own agenda is not going to fail. The only difference is that the generation that is supposed to enjoy it would not enjoy it at the time they were meant to enjoy it. So it then gave me a mandate to simply go out there, create the consciousness of focus and the consciousness of time, and the need for people to deliver on their mandates in the time they are meant to deliver it, so that the generation that is meant to benefit from it should and can benefit from it. So that was how, I started that journey of preaching the gospel of focus and the need for people to stay on their mandate, because in it is also your own satisfaction. It is in it that your blessing resides. So instead of running from pillar to post trying to find money, why not zone it into that stuff that God has given us on assignment, and then reap the dividend of it and still make money from it pretty much.
Wow, guys, see intro. Just tell us something people don't know about you. You're already preaching, we're already choosing our stuff, guys. Okay, wow, I love it. But then this will just lead straight into the nitty-gritty of this discussion, so that we can sack a lot from Mr. Focus within the time that we have here today. So, if you talk about, the assignment tied to a need, and the need tied to a time. So what happens when you miss that time? How do you make up for it, or is it gone forever? Are you unable to make up for it?
Now, the truth of the matter is that, Steve, one of the things I've come to realize is that we as a people, and I hope it's okay for me to speak this way, that we as a people, we give God a lot of talk time. Because God is almost like a chess player. Now, when you miss out on something that's supposed to be done at a time, what you're practically doing is that you're sending God back to the drawing board to start recommutating and rearranging stuff. And that is why we say that God is a merciful God. He will still make a way and all of those things. But the truth of the matter is that whilst it is okay for you to catch up, right? The person that is losing out at the end of the day is still you and every other person connected to you, because we keep elongating our journey. One of the things I say to people is that where we are going is not far. It is the places we are branching that is making our journey long. Do you understand? Two things that I believe makes people's journey long. Number one is the distractions they have in their lives, lack of clarity. Number two is the weight that we carry. The weight of relationship, the weight of assignment that we have no business committing to, responsibilities from people that we don't have any business committing to. These are the two major things that makes people's journey long, So if you're able to get clarity in good time, and you know how to free yourself, the Bible calls it every weight that easily beset. Sometimes those weights are even coming from friends, are coming from family, when they are placing demands on you that you have no business responding to. Sometimes those weights can even come from pastors, and that's one thing where I like to shake when I'm in the church environment. But don't let's go there today, because I'm not sure you want us to go in that direction. Right? So, but the point here is, if you miss out on the timing, what you have simply done is that you have elongated your own journey. God in his mercies can still recalibrate for you and still bring you to a place of purpose and a place of assignment. But you did not just elongate your own journey alone. You have elongated the journey of every other person that is connected to you in destiny. And that is why it's really important that we understand time, we understand season, we understand our assignment in the season, and we're able to deliver in the season.
Wow. So that sounds a bit scary, right? Because you feel like, oh my God, that's a lot to handle. Like, if I know deep down that I have an assignment, right? And I've not been able to figure it out, and maybe I've missed out on my assignment, and I'm worried, like, oh my God, what about all the other people that are tied to me that I've just caused and hold up for? How can we then, okay, so let's say for somebody who's watching or listening to this now, they're young and they're still in that place where they're just downloading their assignment. How would they then be focused enough to know their assignment and cut out all these distractions that might elongate their journeys to fulfilling those assignments ahead of them? And guys, in case you're not, let me just chip this in here. If you're listening to this, when we say assignment, we're talking about your goals, your vision. And in the light of what we are referring to, we are speaking the language of faith, right? So when you say assignment, it's basically, if you're not a person of faith, it means that your dreams, your goals, the thing that you are called to do, the things that tug at you,
the things that are laid in your heart to do.
Yes, that you know that it's like, this is what I was born to do. That is your assignment. And some people say it's purpose, some people say it's your vision, and that's what we're talking about. So for young people who are just downloading that, right, they're just getting into that space where they're beginning to have that sense of meaning. Like, okay, I have to be like, I'm here for more than just being a child of somebody, going to school, graduating, getting a job, getting married, settling. That there is more to me than just all of this. And they're just getting to that point where they are now accepting that, okay, there is more to life, there is meaning. What would you say? What are some pointers to the things that they can do to help them download that assignment, focus on it, run with it without necessarily delaying and also delaying other people that are attached to them?
I think the first thing here is consciousness of an assignment. Conscious of the fact that there are things that needs to be done in season. So those are the two things. Number one is the conscious of the fact that there is time for everything under the sun. Number two is conscious of then what is supposed to be done in a season of life, right? For example, I personally believe strongly that I missed out on a particular timing in my life that delayed my journey, right? And if I can speak freely, in 2019, early 2019, it was impressed on my heart to start a particular solution that would bring people together into a hub, right? And in that hub, I would be teaching specific things that would help people in a particular phase of life. Now, the way it came to me, I wanted to execute it a certain way, right? Now, the way I wanted to execute it looked like it was going to cost me the arm and the leg, right? And I thought to myself that I did not have the arm and the leg to sacrifice at the moment. And then I placed it on hold. Now, fast forward to 2020, the pandemic hit, right? And one of the places that was really affected was my industry. Now, apart from the fact that I would have been able to solve problems for people, was that deploying that solution would have also been my own experience of, that Joseph's experience of the 7 years in Egypt, the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. And the fact that the understanding of that time and season made it possible for them to be able to make that savings. So, when we talk about the concept of time and season and assignment, it's not something that is so far-fetched. What you are doing right now with this podcast series is an assignment meant for a season, because there are some people that are meant to have access to certain information and can only access it through you, right? Your listening and accepting this assignment in this season makes you the connector for those people, right? And also begins to position you also in a certain way that will become the pivotal or the foundation for the next thing that you want to do. Now, one of the things I say to people is that there is nothing we are looking for in this life that is not existing in a seed or in one first assignment. The way God has designed it is that in one new that is becoming extinct, you find another new. So let me give an explanation of that. In a book that I wrote, Focus, right? A coaching program started, which became a new thing. Inside of that coaching program that started, right? A conference was birthed. Inside the conference that was given birth to, another thing started. So in all of it, we can see the connectedness. It is the same thing, but the way it is being manifested per time, per season differs because of time and season. So what we are really trying to say is that there are different things that we are meant to do at different seasons of our lives. That if we are able to understand it and we connect into it, the resources that we need for the next steps of our lives is entrenched in it as a seed. Right? And then outside of that seed, when we plant it, is harvest that will nourish our soul and the soul of the people around us. And in it also exists the new seed for the next season of life. So, which is why it is important as human beings, we know that our life here is not just for existence sake. We are not here for, we need to look away from existential needs and begin to look at things that are deeper, things that are, that have greater value, not just for, for ourselves, but for the people around us. I say this way that when people live, you can either live your life for three major things. It's either you are surviving, you are succeeding, or you are significant. Now, if you are surviving and you are thinking about survival alone, and all that you are focused on is survival, all that you will do is survive. Right. But if you think success, for example, you live your life in a way that will produce success, right? You would automatically survive and you become successful. The same way, if you go for significance as the highest level, you will survive, you will be successful, and then you will have significance. So what I generally say to people is that seek ye first significance, and every other thing will be added on to you. Right. So to that person that is out there thinking, okay, all these things, how do I do it, assignment and all of those things? The first thing is to understand and accept that there is more to your life than just sleeping and waking up. There is more to your life than just making money, so to speak. There is more to your life than this and that and all of that. The moment that consciousness kicks in, you are tuned to the frequency of searching, right? See, as we are talking now, Sound City FM is playing, this radio station is playing, and all of those things are there. But because we are not tuned to the frequency of those things, we can never hear them. The reason why a lot of people have not discovered what assignment they're supposed to be doing in specific seasons of their lives is because they are not tuned to the frequency of assignment.
How do we tune?
They are tuned to the frequency of survival. So all that they will do will be to survive, right? And which is why for me, when I talk about the concept of focus, I'm not just talking about doing. Focus starts from an intangible place. Focus starts from internally. What are the things that constitute the bulk of your thinking? Because if you are able to align your focus internally, it becomes easy for you to align your focus externally. Distraction is first internal before it becomes external. The same way, focus is first internal before it becomes external. So we have a lot of people focused externally on things that do not carry them anywhere. So the best we can say about those people is that they are efficient but not effective. Efficiency is the correct usage of resources, that you are using resources to get the best result. Effectiveness is that we are doing the right thing. So it is possible for you to be doing the wrong thing in the right way, and it is possible for you to be doing the right thing in the wrong way. So internal focus is first of all saying, what are we supposed to be doing? External focus says that now that we know what we are supposed to be doing, how do we do it in the most efficient way? Such that when we look at your life, we look at the way you are using your energy, we look at the way you are using your time, we look at the way you are using your intellect, we look at the way you are using your relationships, we look at the way you are using the money that you have, we can say that you are both effective and efficient. So that means you are well focused internally, and then you are also well focused externally, right? There is no way we can divulge the two from the other, right? And it is when there is a cross pollination between external and internal focus and external focus that our life begins to look like a very well composed song played by the best orchestra out there, right? And then your life begins to bring out a symphony that is beautiful to behold and beautiful to listen to. Until that happens, we are just on a roller coaster ride and we won't really be able to make so much out of our lives.
Wow. Like, he just gave us those bass, you're just bombarding us like, hey guys, you got to. This is so good. Thank you so much for sharing. But then I will just quickly round up with this and then just say your last word. So when you talk about this, like, I'm just thinking like, okay, if this, how do we then prevent the pressure of time? Because for some people, when you just have that consciousness of time, it kind of gives you unnecessary pressure sometimes if you're not. How do we manage it? Because you might just be thinking, oh, I want to do this now. I'm supposed to be doing this. And then you're under pressure. And so you're probably not doing it the way you meant to do it or giving it the time it needs to grow. So how do we manage pressure, even after the pressure of time, even after knowing that our assignment is tied to a need that is tied to a timing?
Thank you so much for this question, right? So there is a framework I generally use, right? I call it the focus code framework, where each of the alphabet of focus stands for something. F stands for freedom, O stands for organization, C stands for cultivate or culture, U stands for understand, and S stands for state. Now, for anybody to be able to fully stay in a state of focus, all these 5 elements must be present, right? So F means that there are certain things that you need to free yourself from, right? I can't go into all of that now because of time, but F means that there are certain things you need to free yourself from, right? And external, so sometimes what you will need to free yourself from is external pressure. Now, there's a difference between external pressure and internal pressure, right? At the end of the day, we all need some form of pressure in our lives to get things done.
Sure.
But there is good pressure and there is bad pressure. Good pressure is self-generated, right? It's almost like when Paul says that knowing the terror that is to come will persuade men. And it says, woe betides me if I don't preach the gospel. Those were self-generated pressure based on an understanding of a higher calling. Bad pressure is the one that is created by external forces. People putting a demand on you or you wanting to match up with people in terms of results. So, when you are tuned to the frequency of internal pressure, it's just enough to keep you going. It can never put you in a state of rush because your spirit will bear witness with you that this is exactly what it is you are supposed to be doing this season. It is when we tune to external pressure and we are listening to Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, and we are trying to calibrate with their own time, not with our own time, that we are unnecessarily running from pillar to post. But if your pressure is self-generated, based on your own understanding of your time and season, you are not going to leave what needs to be done undone. Because I know that this is the timeline for this. I am the one that created a timeline based on certain understanding. I'm the one that will manifest it based on those understandings. It is not created for me by external people, not because I'm looking at my friend, he's making so wave already. I want to make that same wave. So I'm going to be doing touch, fetch. In fact, see, one of the things that creates the greatest distraction for people, and I've said this too many times, is the desire to make money. because people want to make money so fast and they are not willing to see a particular process to a tipping point. And the point is, everything we go through in life has its own gestation period, right? The same way we say that you cannot shorten the time of delivery of a baby by impregnating 9 people. That is the same way you cannot hasten your process. Everything has a tipping point. And guess what? The longer a living organism will stay alive, the longer the gestation period. Animals that live for a short period short time in life, their gestation period is always very short. Animals that live long, their gestation period is always long. You cannot continue to abort your babies simply because you want to have your delivery quickly. A lot of people have aborted their babies, right? And now, when I say babies, I'm not talking about Lawrence children. I'm talking about children, right? Yeah. A lot of people have aborted their babies. A lot of people have abandoned pregnancies, thinking they can carry multiple pregnancies at once. I've never seen a woman carry 2-3 pregnancies together at once. It's one pregnancy per time. So it still brings us back to understanding of time and season and what is meant to be done in that season. The moment a woman gets pregnant, that is the end of pregnancy for the next 9 months. No matter how much she desires to rush the process, 9 months is 9 months. So the way to do that is to ensure that your pressure is self-created and not based on external stimulus or what is happening in your friend's life or in another person's life, something like that.
Oh, so good. So good. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Like, I feel like in this short time, you've been able to download a lot, and this is already a lot to unpack. Thank you very much. I mean, if somebody watches this and listens to this and say, oh, who is this Mr. Focus? I've never heard of him before. How can they connect with you and say, I want to even see more of what he has, I want to follow his work and see how can people do that?
Well, my handle across social media is constant across board. It's called Boluwatife David. Boluwatife David on Instagram, Boluwatife David on Facebook, Boluwatife David on LinkedIn, Boluwatife David everywhere you're looking.
Fantastic.
Right.
Okay. You are tipping like you're just gushing. Too much. Too much wisdom gushing out. Thank you so much for availing yourself. Thank you for sharing today. I really appreciate you. Guys, thank you. Please, you know how we do it. If anything has jumped at you from this session today and you have a feedback for us, please do send us a feedback. You can either send through WhatsApp if you have my personal contact, or you can send on, Instagram, for example, send through IG message, direct messaging, or you can send us an email at, theafrocentrist@gmail.com. But by all means, please send us a feedback. And in case you feel like, we want Mr. Boluwatife back again, want to hear him talk about another thing, please also send that feedback so that I'll just go and say, okay, please come back. My people are asking for you, okay? So by all means, just drop your feedback because it helps us serve you better. Thank you so much for the support so far. I love you. And until I come your way again next week, remember, today is, the third Friday of the month. And as you already know, second and fourth Friday are always for our book review. So next week, Friday, we're going to continue on the book review, Stretch Your Mind. Woo! So good. So we're going to be sharing that with you next week. But until then, have an amazing weekend. God bless you. Bye-bye.